Carol Gamble. I'm a yoga teacher here at Roots to Wings. And I want to welcome you. This is about the time in the class where I say, how is everyone doing? You know, what's kind of concerns might you have this evening for your body, any recent injuries or any areas you want to work on in the class. And just sort of, check in. And one of the things that I feel I want to check in with you about is your sense of emotional well-being. I want to check in with you because I think that there's a lot of stress, either overtly or, down deep into the layers of our body from this last month or so. Is this fear, there's, unknown, the uncertainty of everything. And it does take a toll day to day. We've had to change our lifestyles, but yoga can help. It's an anchor to this, to ourselves, to our world, to create that sense of coming home to ourselves, to practice, which helps build some resilience toward all this. Earlier this year, I had a group yoga therapy class, which addressed sleep issues. And, insomnia is something that at any point in your life you may be affected by. Either it's not just the inability to sleep, but it's maybe the inability to sleep well, disrupted sleep, waking up, worrying, quality of sleep. And I've been in sleep labs. I've had a lot of experience with sleep problems. I've worked on it over the years, so I have some things to share as a yoga therapist and also as a person, a woman who's at a certain age where it's affected by sleep as well. The thing is, sleep affects everything in our lives, our health, our brain health. Restoring our sleep is so important, making sure that it's adequate and good quality. So I thought, I'll weave in a few tips from that workshop, but I also thought about something to share with you. And here's a journal. I have always done journaling. I'm sure many of you have too. Sometimes we forget. So a couple of tips is that when you wake up in the morning, or sometime when you wake up in the middle of the night, to write down what are the things that are stressing you out. Make a list. Take a moment, take a deep breath, close your eyes, feel these issues, write them down, put them on paper. Because sometimes sleep is not so much inability to physically fall asleep, but cognitively to let go. To let go, let your body relax so that it can sleep. So if you write down like a laundry list of all the things and get them off your chest onto a piece of paper, that's helpful. And just as a reminder, a gratitude list is one of the most powerful tools, and that could be the thing you do just before bed, is to just write down all the things you're grateful for today, maybe just in this moment. It could be something small, like when I turned on the faucet, the water was clean, it was warm, the shower was warm, my bed is comfortable, I have food to put on the table for my family. So I want to share that because writing is a great tool, journaling is a great tool, and I think it ties in a lot with the inner awareness that we strive for with yoga, to understand our sensations, our body sensations, which point to other things, emotional, health, feelings. Feelings are so important, and I think they're rampant right now. So I was going to suggest that if you haven't done any journaling for a while, that maybe you try it again. Just a piece of scrap paper if you don't have a journal to write and to use that as a tool. So now let's move on to the practice of yoga. Sitting in a seat that's comfortable, Sukhasana, where your hips are slightly elevated, find a neutral position. You might want to rock front and back, side to side a little, and find that place where your sitting bones are connected with your blanket. You can feel your tailbone slightly lifted. Your spine has a natural curve. And then feel the crown of your head gently lift toward the ceiling as you bring your shoulders up to your ears and roll them back and down. So breathe in your shoulders, breathe them up to your ears, press them back and roll them down. Sort of like 3 movements here. Inhale up, press back, letting the shoulder blades come closer, and then slide down. Nice gentle slide. Everything seems to get jammed up there. So let's do that a few more times. Inhale up, deep breath, slide, press back and slide down. Let your hands rest comfortably on your lap. And close your eyes for a moment. Lift your sternum, feel your heart open and your belly relaxed. For the practice of breathing, imagine the belly being able to swell as if you were inflating a balloon. Drawing in a nice slow breath through the nose. Feeling the expansion. Maybe it's not much at first, but gradually deepening the breath. Inhaling and then exhaling slowly. As you breathe in, imagine the expansion, an opportunity to explore the sensation. And as you exhale, an opportunity to let go. Exhale being even slightly longer than the inhale. So doing a nice 10 breath, and you can count down from 10 to 0, however else you'd like to do it. It's your practice. But even bringing your hands to your belly is a nice way to connect with yourself and notice how it feels. The breath is wonderful for calming the nervous system and relaxing you, ready for sleep. As you feel, you could even feel the rib cage expanding to the sides of your body. Place your hand there, it feels like it expands and then comes back down. And then feeling your fingertips at the top, right below your clavicle. Feel the collarbone lifting slightly at the end of the breath. A complete 3-part yoga breath. You can layer on Ujjayi breathing. Just find your own way to gradually feel your body beginning to settle, your mind begin to settle. Let everything that happened today be behind us right now, and bring yourself to this present moment, letting your hands come back to where they're comfortable. And maybe, as far as the settling of us during this very difficult time, bring your fingertips out to the sides and connecting with the earth. Feel yourself grounding your body, not only through your seat, but through your whole body, in the root chakra, Muladhara, which represents safety and security. This time, notice how that feels to be safe, to be secure, to know that the necessities of life that you need right now, your physical needs, are being met, that you have a right to be here. So feeling that sense of safety, the red, beautiful light of the root chakra, keeping you settled and secure. And some of the poses we'll do tonight do help promote the health of the root chakra, the Muladhara. So we need to land from all this craziness and feel ourselves secure in our homes, in our communities. So now placing your hands back out front, let's begin with your eyes still cast downward to the ground. Begin to move your body, circling the torso, just starting to loosen up a little bit. Feel the low back. Check out how things are right now with your spine. And just let the head and neck go along for the ride. Take a deep breath. Keep a flowing breath and change direction. You can exhale through the mouth, inhale through the nose. Just begin to feel tension leaving the body. Tension which helps, which prevents you from feeling relaxed and ready for sleep. So then we come upright again. Slide your right hand slightly away from your body. Bring your left arm, up. Press the palm toward the ceiling. Feel space between the hip. Press, lengthen. Take a deep breath and then draw your arm across over to the right. Inhale, come back down. Feel already a little space there. And let's do the other side. Press up through the right hand. Reach. Inhale and then exhale. Reach in a side bend over to the left. Inhale your arm back down. Notice how that feels. You feel a little bit less stress there. One more time each side. Reach and take a moment to breathe into that stretch. Exhale. Inhale, other side. And breathe. Press down through the hip and come back up. Let's inhale both arms overhead and hook your thumbs together. Feel the length in your spine, lifting the torso up off the hips. And then turn gently to the right. Inhale to the center and twist gently to the left. Inhale back to the center. Take a moment. Once again, center yourself. And then arms part and twist to the right. Inhale all the way up again and then twist to the left. And then coming back to the center and bringing yourself off whatever you're sitting on. And the blanket is a nice tool. We're going to be coming onto our backs. The blanket is a nice tool to have as a spinal support. So you don't need this, but if you do, you can do a fold of the blanket. I'm doing like a tri-fold. I'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3. And I'm placing it lengthwise on my mat. So as you sit on the edge of the blanket, take a moment to lengthen up through the spine and crown so that when you walk yourself back down, you find length in your spine all the way back down. The neck is free. Turn your head side to side. And if your arms are out to the side, you can already feel the chest opening up a little because you elevated your mid-back. And this is a really nice place to be to do some more diaphragmatic breathing, or just to settle in for a moment and feel your back supported. Feel yourself supported by life. And again, you can bring your hands to your belly. Take a deep breath. Feel the whole body expanding with the breath. Feel the whole torso, and then exhale, come down. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, it's nice to be able to remember the breath as a tool. If you say, okay, I'm going to count from 10, take a deep breath, and on the exhale say 10, and on the next breath, inhale, and say 9. By the time you get to 4 or 5, you probably will be asleep or forget where you are counting. So then relax for a moment. And then on the next area of the body that gets very tight from mental tension is the low back. So I'm going to do a little exercise for loosening up the low back that we've done in class many times. It's good in preparation for yoga poses. It's good for back health. So if you can imagine that on your back, you have the face of a clock where the tailbone is the number 6, and the waist is the number 12. And there's the face of a clock, you know, the old-fashioned kind with the numbers on it. So we're going to do some spinal rocking very gently at first, opening up. So take a deep breath, and as you inhale, press toward the 6, creating an arch in your spine. And then exhale, press on the 12, flattening the back. Pubic bone tilts up, and then inhale, pubic bone goes down, tailbone connects. And continue at your own pace. It's not a big movement, but it's extremely helpful, what we stated. And it's very soothing. So you're rocking, you're loosening up the muscles, you're connecting, you feel it the length of your spine. If you do that for a little while, you begin to, maybe you want to scoop in your belly as you press on the 12, feeling a little engagement of your core. And then after you come back to neutral, now you want to press on the 3 and the 9. So you can do this with a blanket, although it's probably better on a flat mat. But you're going side to side, you're beginning to create a little twist, very gentle. Everyone see? So you're just going side to side. The knees are going, but not too far, not at this point. And then you stop and come back to the middle, and then we're going to try to touch all the numbers of the clock, moving your pelvis, going around in a circle, seeing where you might feel tension, where you might not be able to touch, and maybe linger there if you want. And then keep your breath flowing. Inhale, exhale. Be mindful of your breath in connection with the movement, and then change direction of the circle. Well, I feel a little pop in my spine. Can't go to the chiropractor right now, right? So there you go. And then coming back to the center again, just pause and be grateful and feel, direct some love and compassion toward yourself. And then as you rest there, you stay there. I want to reach for my poem that I wanted to read you. And this is one of my favorite poems, Wendell Berry, called The Peace of Wild Things. So take in these words. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. And for a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I'm free. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I'm free. So then coming and rolling off if you're on a blanket, to roll off your blanket. You come onto your mat. And to draw your knees in, pressing your hands on your shins, and feel your back, lower back rounding again. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Inhale as you let the legs maybe come away a little bit, and then exhale as you press them in even more firmly. And then placing your hands on your knees, maybe letting the knees move in a circle, just like you were doing before, a few times each way. And then placing your feet on the floor and your arms at shoulder height. Feel your shoulder blades on the mat, your feet in touch with Mother Earth. Relax, feel your neck nice and long. And then begin to bring your knees over to the left, up to the center, and over to the right. So as you come through the center, take a deep breath. Exhale over to the side. And then as you coordinate the breath and the movement, you begin to develop a rhythm. And then add, if you like, gazing on the opposite direction of your knees. So now you have a gentle twist all the way up the spine, including the cervical area. Keep a flowing breath. And the next time your knees come over to the left, just let them rest there. Turn, keep your head turned to the right, and allow yourself to soften and relax in this beautiful shape. Be careful of your thoughts. The principle of ahimsa, non-harming, applies to our thought watching. That you don't want to think negative thoughts. You don't want to let the thoughts that, maybe there are thoughts that come up, but they may not be true, right? So as you see any thoughts come up that, are causing you distress, maybe take a moment to step back as the witness and say, oh, that's just a thought, and that's not necessarily true. But take your knees up and over to the other side and gaze over at your left hand. So harmful thoughts create stress. Any self-judgment, unnecessary criticism, this is not the time. This is the time for us to be gentle with ourselves and to love ourselves unconditionally. So coming back up, draw your knees in again. Feel your back. And then press your feet on the floor in preparation for bridge pose. So bridge pose is also a good pose for the Muladhara chakra stabilization. Take a deep breath, and as you do, lift the hips up off the floor. Have your knees and feet be hip distance apart. Should have said that one first. But as you press your hips up, squeeze the glutes. Keep your arms and shoulders pressed to the earth, and then lower back down gently with control. I got a cramp in my hamstring. I think we need to stretch those hamstrings. So, let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift the hips, and if you like, you can clasp your hands below, beneath your buttocks, reaching your knuckles toward your heels, squeezing the shoulder blades toward each other. And pause and hold and feel. This is a good tension reliever when you release this. It's contracting all the muscles. Yoga 3-part breath is wonderful here. Waves of breath up and down. And then release your hands and come all the way down. Stretch your legs out all the way. Feel the whole length of your spine. Notice where you're connected with the earth. So another way to relieve tension if your body just won't let go for sleep is contract and release. This is Herbert Benson's relaxation response, remember? So I'm going to you can do one limb at a time, or you can do all of them at once. Let's do all right now. Make fists with both hands and squeeze your arms. Squeeze your thighs and buttocks, your belly. Take a deep breath. Hold that breath in and squeeze everything. Contract, contract, hold it in. And release with a ha through your mouth. And just windshield wiper your feet and your hands a little bit. Let's do that one more time. You see the effect of that when you contract tight muscles and then let them go? They relax. So let's go. Squeeze, arms, legs, buttocks, belly, everything. Hold and relax. Nice. So suppose you're still struggling and you're like, oh, I'm restless. Come on up and come into child's pose, which is really a nice pose for counter pose to the bridge. So we're on our hands and knees, and now you're getting out of bed and you're on the floor. You say, okay, you can do a few cat and dog tilts, but then when you're ready, to bring your knees a little further apart and your toes together, and then draw yourself down into child pose. Belly, chest, head resting, forehead on the floor. And in that pose, take some slow, deep breaths. You can have your arms up like this with your shoulders relaxed, or I like to have my arms trailing behind, fingertips toward my feet, because I feel that I get a better rounding of my back. Imagine that the tailbone is also tilting down slightly, so when you round your back, it's more conducive to sleep. Back bends are not, they're stimulating, so a rounding, a forward bend is better. Take some deep breaths into the bowl of the pelvis. Exhale and feel yourself being nurtured in this moment by your own body and breath. You can also move your forehead side to side to massage the third eye. Imagine that you're relieving mental tension in that way. Let go of worry. I saw a post-it that said, worrying works. 97% of what I worry about never happens. So it's true, sometimes we worry about, I guess some of that is from life experience, that we know that things can happen. But, most of the time they don't. So if it's not useful to worry so much, because it does sap our energy and create stress. So think about this phrase, I am a warrior, not a worrier. I'll finish the rest of that little poem shortly, but now I want you to reach into downward facing dog. Bring yourself up to table again. And curl your toes under. This is good for sleep too. It's an inversion, which is very relaxing. So coming into downward facing dog, press the floor away, lift the tailbone and tilt it back down, flat back, deep breaths into the belly. If you want to pedal your legs, if you feel that's nice for stretching those hamstrings that we just talked about, that's a good thing to do as well. So downward facing dog. And walk your feet forward towards your hands. If you want to do downward facing dog against the wall, that can be done very easily if you find a wall in your bedroom. Suppose that you don't have a mat, or who knows, you might have a different reason. Maybe you go to the bathroom and you find the countertop of the bathroom as a place. I'll take this chair over here for now. Pretend that this is the countertop of the bathroom counter. And so then I'm going to walk myself back and come into a stretch, bringing my head between my arms and pressing my tailbone back and taking some deep breaths. And then afterward, walking myself forward and thinking, okay, maybe I'll try getting back to bed now. But coming into standing now, how did that feel, that downward dog? Good, right? It's just a great pose. It's a great pose to come home to. You can do a whole, if you're going to do some yoga at night, stick to the forward folds like that, or inversions that are calming to the mind. So I like to recommend mountain pose as a meditation. If you press your feet into the floor and build this pose from the ground up, feel your ankles pressing toward each other, knees are soft. Maybe you're a little drowsy, and this is going to help sort of let you relieve you of the mental tension as well. Because when you get your spine nice and long, press up through the crown of the head, lift the sternum, neutral pelvis, and reach your fingertips toward the floor as you press the crown of your head up to the ceiling. Now your body's in alignment. And you're also balancing. You feel, your body can sway a little bit with eyes closed. You're using your core strength by engaging your core. This is getting your mind off other things, right? Because you're concentrating on this pose. It's great for focus. And then when you're ready, you want to come ascending the mountain, bring your arms all the way up overhead. And I call this a mountain meditation. I like to close my eyes and envision myself out in nature, maybe looking at a mountain, or maybe I am the mountain. Everything around me is the weather, and it changes. Let's take a moment of silent mountain. I'll stop talking. against your arms as you breathe in and out. Toning your body. And then gently turning your palms out and coming down slowly, slowly, slowly. Bringing your arms down by your side. So forward bend, forward folds, they're all good, but I like Yoga Mudra because we have that tension that we talked about in the upper chest, and if you bring your arms behind you and reach and clasp your hands, you can use a yoga strap as well. If your shoulders need more width, you can use a strap or a bathroom tie. Inhale, lengthen up, and then begin to hinge at the hips as you press your knuckles back, floating yourself down toward the floor, coming halfway down at first, continuing to press out, and then letting your knees bend slightly. Hamstrings might be tight there, and then see if you can come down like a towel over a beach chair, letting the top of your body hang down, press up through the knuckles. Take a deep breath in and out. Exhale through the mouth. Imagine that you're letting all your burdens fall off your back. Anything that's bothering you, you don't need to carry right now. And then slowly, keeping your arms pressed out, come back up to standing. And release your hands and let them float. You can feel the release, right? They feel almost weightless. That's good. So, you all know the half sun salutation. You'd have to do it really slow. You don't want to invigorate your body when you're trying to get ready for sleep. So we can do that. We can take arms up overhead. Deep breath. Exhale, fold forward. Same thing, just letting your head and neck relax. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Palms come together and come down in front of your heart. So here's the intention. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy, and may I live with ease. So let's do that again. It's a prayer, a prayerful half sun salutation, a metta for you. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale all the way up. Palms touch, come down in front of the heart. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. And let's do this for our loved ones in our community. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Inhale all the way up. Palms come together. Float down in front of the heart. And once again, the metta. May all beings be safe. May they be healthy. May they be happy. And may they live with ease. So release that. And then, another thing is to step wide apart. Nice counter pose for the forward folds is a standing swinging twist. And that's always good for the spine. And again, gets you ready to let go. You can lift one heel, pretend you're a little speed skater, move your arms. But again, very soft noodle arms, because you don't want to get too vigorous when you're trying to get back to sleep. As you slow it down, and come back to center. So I would like to bring you back down to the mat for a moment and talk about stretches for the neck. So you find your seat. And so we want to, the neck is definitely an area of concern. And so it helps to stretch it different ways to relieve tension. So the first one I like to do is to dip your chin down to your chest and just feel the stretch in the back of the neck from the weight of your head. Again, keep your breath flowing and move your chin side to side. Sweeping the chin over to the left and to the right. Each time breathing in and back to the center. And then coming back to the center. You can do this for longer. I would recommend a minute each one, and then come back up. And then dipping your right ear to your right shoulder. And then bringing your right arm up and placing it gently above your left ear. And this one is the 3 R's, right? It's a great way to release. Positional therapist Lee Albert taught me this one. Pressing your head gently into your hand, and just the weight of your hand on your head. Allow the stretch to happen. Relax your left shoulder. And just hold that. It's a little resistance there. But as we do that with muscles, create resistance and then release them, there's a relaxation effect. Inhale, and then release that. Stretch, and then re-stretch over to that side without your hand. And then back up again. Let's do the other side. Left side, bring your left hand above your right ear. Breathe in. Press gently back into your hand. And then release. And then re-stretch. And then come back up. You never usually stretch the front of the neck. There's so much tension in here, right? You feel your tight muscles? So one way I like to do that is to take your hands like you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance over your heart and anchor those muscles. Take a deep breath and lean your head back and to the left. Stretching the front of the neck. Sometimes you just feel that tension leaving the body, and then come back up. Switch sides, other side. Tilt your head back and to the right. Deep breath. And relax. And then now bringing your hands down to your lap, you can make some circles like you're drawing on a blackboard with your nose. Either way, both ways. Good. Does that feel better? And then squeeze your shoulders to your ears. Take a deep breath and release with a ha. Good. So now we're at the restorative section. We don't have much time left. Class is usually an hour and 15 minutes, right? So, but I do want to tell you about restorative pose, 2 of them actually. One of them is fish pose, and you can use your blanket. You can use your blanket and place it across the upper third of your mat. And you know, it's a slight back bend, but it's a great opener of the chest and a heart opener. So as you bring yourself down onto your mat, your shoulders and arms are above the upper edge of the blanket. Your chest is open, you have your legs out and relaxed. And just with your head back, you can, if your head is uncomfortable, you can cushion your neck with a soft towel. But try to encourage the opening of the heart, the chest, decongesting the whole area. And you can put something under your knees if you like, but this is a great way to relax and restore. Is everyone trying it? And then turn over onto your side and come up to seated. After we finish the class, I hope that you will try one of these restorative poses and for a longer period of time. I'm using the chair because putting my legs at the wall is a little difficult right now with the way we're set up. But I'm going to encourage you to take that same blanket and put it in front of it, either a chair or your sofa, a chair or a couch. I've done it in a lot of different things. And to bring yourself down on the floor. The purpose of the blanket is to elevate the hips. So this feels great. So this is another gentle way to relax the body by inverting the legs. Certainly legs up the wall, you have a little bit more drainage of the lymphs from the legs, lymphatics. But this is nice because if you can also cushion under your knees. And then, you might want to put a little eye pillow over your eyes. And just let your mind relax. Let the thoughts come through like, I don't know, fish swimming through an aquarium or something like that. Just let them, swim through, not grasping. And again, your metta for yourself. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. Or whatever intention. Also called a sankalpa. You can say something like it's already here. And so then, in the interest of time, I'm just going to have you slowly come out of this by lifting your legs and turning over to one side. Bring your shoulder with you and come up to seated. And of course, Shavasana, the final resting pose, will be flat on your back. You can have that blanket underneath your knees to support yourself a little bit more. Or a cushion. I'll have you guys lie down while I sit. Come onto your backs and close your eyes. Bring a blanket over you if you like. Let your knees fall apart, let your feet relax and fall apart. Let your jaw relax, let the jaw bones sink back like they were settling back into the floor. Lips parted, cheekbones relaxed. Little muscles in your forehead relaxed. Feel your whole body on the floor. Your whole body. Bring your awareness to your breath at the level of the nostrils. Let the breath be at its natural pace. Feel the sensation of the in-breath inside your nostrils. Silky, cool. And the exhale, breath coming out is warm by the body. You feel the temperature. You feel the softness. Nothing to do but breathe gently in, softly out. Breathe in self-compassion. Breathe out worry. Breathe in love and forgiveness. Breathe out peace. Peace for you, for your family, your friends, and your community. As a warm light emanating from your body at rest. Spread your love and hold it in your heart. And take in these words again from Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. I'll let you rest. It's been my honor and privilege to be here tonight to lead the class. Namaste, everyone. Much love, and I'll see you next week.